Hello everyone, and welcome to my Dragon Ball Super Episode 107 review. For my review, I will talk about the following categories. Enjoy the video. So what I liked about the episode, I actually found it to be entertaining. Something 106 was lacking pretty bad, but that is the only positive thing I can really say about it. So what I did not like, the Muten Roshi being able to push back Frost. I know Frost said he was holding back, but there was absolutely no reason why Roshi should be able to fight him when a few arcs ago, he was fighting Frieza soldiers and got one-shotted by Togama. And I think it's easy to say that Togama is weaker than Universe 6, Universe 7 Tournament Frost, and now, Frost is way stronger than he was back then. Ugh, that scene. It would have been better if Roshi had just jumped back when he buffed up instead of trying to fight Frost. That would have been an easy fix. Another thing I didn't like, Frost being able to do the reverse Mafuba. I didn't think anything could surpass the implausibility of future Trunks learning the Mafuba in less than 2 minutes, but holy shit. Super managed to one-up its own stupid plot point. Sure, you could bring up the point Piccolo used the reverse Mafuba without ever seeing the actual Mafuba before Kami used it, but remember, Piccolo is a reincarnation of Daimao and trained for years for the 23rd tournament, so it is very plausible that he could learn it under those circumstances. But I guess this is just a thing now. Techniques and forms that previously took time to learn are just now instantly learned. Now, if only the Dragon team could take full advantage of this bad writing and all learn the instantaneous movement in Kaioken. I'm sure it wouldn't take more than 5 minutes given what we've seen. So for the story and pacing, this was the Frost episode, and right off the bat, the subs made a mistake right here with him saying Universe 6 instead of his business. The pacing for this episode was actually really good, and probably the best aspect of the episode for me. For the visuals and audio, the scene at the very beginning with Champa, Vados, and Frost was a really good looking scene. I really enjoyed the atmosphere. I didn't notice any artwork that was particularly bad in this episode. I thought it was pretty fairly consistent in its art, and the soundtrack was on point as always. For the character utilization, Frost was the main star of this episode, and I did like him, despite my criticism of him doing the reverse Mafuba. With Roshi, he really should have ringed himself out at the end of 105. I thought his elimination was the weakest thus far of Universe 7, especially with Vegeta being the one to tell him to drop out. Goku should have been the one to tell Roshi to drop out, as it would have made a lot more sense. I'm also pretty disappointed that they rehashed the whole Vegeta elimination. I thought it would have been a way more creative choice if they would have made Vegeta give Vegeta a rude gesture, instead of just calling him scrap metal again. But on to my overall rating. I will give this episode a 2 out of 5. Like I said before, even though I was entertained by this episode, the writing was just awful. Like episode 64 awful. I was entertained with what was being presented in front of me, but there is this strange paradox, where Super is trying to cater to old school fans, but at the same time, you would have to not be an old school fan to not think, this is retarded. Roshi shouldn't be this strong, and the Mafuba is very devalued now. Yes, I want side characters to do things in the story, and I like some fan service. But I also want it to make sense. And unfortunately, this episode made no sense. Next week though, we have the Frieza and Frost episode, and I'm just crossing my fingers that this episode will actually be good. And those are my thoughts on Dragon Ball Super, episode 107, and the next episode preview for 108. Let me know what you thought of the episode in the comments section, and with that, thank you for watching, and have a great day everyone.
No!